Hello, everyone. My apologies for the few minutes of delay. I was having a bit of technical difficulties here. Just trying to set up some platforms here. And, anyways, just learning curve. I wanted to jump on for my weekly YouTube live. Hope everyone is doing well and had a wonderful weekend. Definitely, there's been a shift and change in the weather, so hope everybody's adjusting to the fall season now. Anyways, want to come on and discuss. So it's been interesting. I've been kind of, over the past week since my last YouTube, I've been playing with a few different things that have been going on in my own life. So I feel that, this topic that I want to discuss and share some, perspectives, share some strategies to help cope, within this space that I'll be discussing. And hopefully, you could receive a takeaway from the information that I provide and go from there. As I was saying, this week, a few things have kind of popped up in the space of energy, which is the topic of discussion for today. And I feel that it would be a great fit for, talking about, because I was dealing with, energy is all around us. We are energy in physical form, and and there are so many different ways to not only embrace, work with, and just even information to be aware of that you may or may not even know regarding energy. So um, this is such a vast topic, so I'm going to try to be quick, focus on the areas that I specialize in, which, I will give you my short bio. Again, my name is Maria Esposito. I'm the owner of Revolution 9, and which is the next step to from Elite Property Investments, where I helped consult people through, through consulting training and mentoring people through building their own wealth in the real estate space. Very logical, very analytical space. However, I did use a lot of my tools, with some of my clients, and did use my gifts in helping people build that aspect of their life, which is very crucial. Building your retirement, building wealth, building, even just the confidence in being able to pursue, business, and moving forward in that space. In a However, you know, it was part, and it's always been my intention to get back into the holistic space. So as a trainer in hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming, and a master practitioner in all of the spaces: NLP, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and a practitioner in the space of astronumerology, which is a beautiful divination tool in understanding the frequencies around numbers. So I combine not only my skill sets and my experience, but I also couple in as a psychic healer, as an empath, as an intuitive, as a channeler. Use all of my tools and gifts that were given, have always been a part of me, and share, and couple that with my educational and experience. So what is energy? So, like I said, I just like to focus on, let's talk about the areas of energy in the space of, working with energy, on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I'll probably leave that aside because that in itself could be a whole topic on its own. But let's talk about, energy in our everyday lives. And how it could impact us on those levels that I just stated, your physical, mental, and emotional well being, and tools and strategies that could help you use energy to your benefit and not your detriment. So, so energy. So when we're talking about energy, so I'll give you an example. I had an incident with my daughter, the past few weeks, and she's been having some aches and pains in her legs. So I looked into my metaphysical space and okay, what does the leg represent? What does because our bodies, because we are energy, we emit energy and we take in energy, especially if you're an empath. So, what is an empath? Just simply speaking, is somebody that could feel pain, that could actually feel emotions. And a big thing that for somebody who actually could feel and absorb emotions from other people externally, it could have there's responsibility as an empath to not only release that energy and be able to take responsibility because it could impact you on a physical level. So again, an empath is a person that feels very deeply other people's emotions, other people's pains, and literally will take that on as their own as a healer to try to help them. So we'll take that, as their own, and whether they're consciously aware of it or not. And over time could create different situations within the mental, emotional, and physical body. So going back to my story with my daughter, so when she was saying, I said, okay, well, what, let's go to the doctor and let's just assess and let's explain and make sure that everything's okay you know at a physical level, and make sure that we do our due diligence. However, the other side of that is that okay, what does I like to look at when people go through physical pain. So whether that is whatever that pain is, low back, legs, different parts of the body. So when somebody is experiencing pain, that could potentially mean that our body is holding on to certain energies. So what do we do, and how is that even possible? So as our thoughts and our mental capacity is energy. So our thoughts is a form of energy. And, you know, as we, think and process information, that's all energetic processing that we do as humans. And there's a whole process that we go through. And then as that comes up, that comes up as a thought, when we experience different situations. And so what these situations and experiences could have is that when we're going through life and experiencing things and we're processing these events, there could be times that we're actually holding on to those energies, especially if they're traumatic. And depending on where, say, for example, the pain is, that could give you an indication of what that could be. So, with different ways, different spaces, different modalities will show different things. So, in my knowing, when you're looking at energy or possibly trapped energy in the body, um, I like to look, okay, is it on the left side? Is it on the right side? In my world, the left side is the female energy side, the right side is the masculine. The right is the masculine, left is the feminine energy side. Um, Different body parts also mean different things. So if you're storing something, so using my daughter as an example, she's been holding on to energy in her right leg. So the right off the bat, that has something to do with the masculine energy. So what is masculine energy? That is your drive. That is your personal power. That is your taking action. That is it's almost like your practicality of being human. Whereas The female energy side is all about the internal. It's all about the emotions. It's love. It's compassion. It's really in the space of your emotional well-being, which is the feminine energy side. So, so in the case of my daughter, that was on her masculine energy side. That was telling me, okay, maybe there was something. And I said to her, is there something going on in your life that could have something to do with taking action on something that you're maybe holding on to, that you're maybe afraid to move forward, to do something? Because also, in conjunction with the masculine energy, the left side, the leg represents moving forward, is moving forward as well. So I said to her, was there something? And that's when she said to me, yes, there's something going on at school that, and she really didn't know how to deal with it. So I said to her, okay, well, if this is the case, and this, I was saying this to her, pre and post after our doctor's appointment, because the doctor pretty much said, you know what, it sounds like it's a muscle pain because it was more in the back of her calf. So and that was the end of that. And the doctor basically said, don't worry about it. So take my doctor's word for it, and that's okay. So I said, okay, well, you know what? In this case, maybe in this circumstance, maybe you need to take action. Just move that first step. So this was regarding somebody else within her school. And I said, well, maybe the first step is to, acknowledge, this other person. And, it doesn't even have to be opening up communications yet. Just take that first little step and see if that makes a difference. So these are things that we can. That was a very more deeper example, but yet again, the point is, it's having that mind body connection. When you're able to assess that, okay, and you're going through your own due diligence. I always say it's best that if something's going on, especially if something is chronic, a chronic pain, until that chronic meaning reoccurring. Um, you want to get that. You want to seek medical attention. Get the diagnoses that you need, and then, however, the other flip side to that is the energetic component to what that's telling me, because the energy side of physical manifestations could also tell you, um, could contribute to that story. So even though it's already manifested, you're experiencing the pain in your body, it could also give you context when you're looking at the other side, looking at the whole picture, in how you could actually create true healing. Because with having the context of possibly what created or what you're holding on to, because that's energy that could be stuck in that certain body. And if you're in awareness and have the understanding of what those parts, sides, there's even, in, my beautiful friend, Laura Cannell, that is a reflexologist. The left side and the right side is, taking things in or letting things go. So there's also different ways of looking at those stuck energies and what the story is telling you. And it allows you to be able to make decisions to truly heal yourself. So that's one aspect on the physical level. Then you have the mental and the emotional bodies, which is sometimes talking about the subconscious and the unconscious mind, which is my wheelhouse of knowledge and experience. There could also, and this again could link to the physical body and could be telling you a story. Um, the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind represses emotions. So when we experience life at a high vibrational level and also at a lower vibrational level, we are experiencing life. We are processing those events mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And as a result, things shift, change, bring into awareness, and things create change. So at those levels, unconsciously, when you're experiencing these things, there could be time, depending on the situation, especially if it's highly traumatic, the unconscious mind will actually repress those emotions and that event. So once you're processing that, what comes up as a thought or as you rationalizing or just going through the experience at a conscious level, the vast majority of that experience has actually been repressed. So again, this is speaking at an energetic level. So how does that show up? When we have repressed emotions unconsciously, you know, it shows up again. It shows up in your mental well-being, um, emotional well-being. So the way it could show up is as triggers in your life, patterns of behavior that could be shifted and changed through those traumatic experiences. So how you do things from moment to moment, things like that could shift and change. Triggers, patterns, strategies could shift and alter and change through these experiences. And also physically. So um, holding on to energies for an extended period of time could manifest, in the area of pain, chronic pain, disease, health, wellness, health, issues, ailments. This is how it shows up. So again, and it shows up physically through these different components, which makes you go, and that's where it's up to you to do the due diligence and get the information that you need. So so yeah, so that's pretty much and I've really chunked up and tried to do this as quick as possible because there's so much more to energy that I could be sharing. But for now, so you know when experiences happen and you're experiencing possibly possible trapped energy in your body, low back. So that's one of my biggest things. So for me, I know what that means for me. And usually it's clockwork in terms of experiencing that, experiencing that in different times, in different situations, depending on what's going on in my life. It could trigger a low back issue, you know, um, and being physically active and going to the gym and taking care of my physical body, I could tell the difference that if I know I'm holding on to something emotionally in my low back, or if I've sprained something or did something at the gym to hurt myself physically. Different, right? So again, it goes back to that mind body connection. So what can you do? So, how can we create change if we are, for example, let's use the idea, if we are holding on to energy consciously, unconsciously, and it's trapped in our body, especially if it's chronic, probably these may help to subside, but chronic pain, that's probably you're holding on to something a bit deep rooted, a deep rooted problem that would probably take a bit of facilitation, from somebody specialized in that area, such as like myself, or a psychotherapist, or any other people that work in the space of the subconscious and the unconscious minds that are, whereas for say day to day inconsistent pains, what can you do? So for myself, and I'm only sharing what I have shared with clients and what I do for myself in circumstances like that. Um, when things happen, the first thing I do is that, okay, um, I love using the book. This is probably one of my main resources I use is "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay. That is probably one of my first places that I'll go because it's a beautiful, beautiful book that talks about the subconscious, the unconscious mind, energy, and it truly is a book that teaches you how to heal your life. So for me, right off the back, if I know I'm having a pain or something like that, I would usually consult that book to get an idea of what exactly is the representation of that body part and what is it telling me. Because she shares, and she also shares affirmations, which is step number two. I incorporate doing affirmations continuously through the day, during my meditations, and before I go to bed. I have certain affirmations that I use, and again, Louise Hay, "You Could Heal Your Life" is a phenomenal book that really talks so in depth of energy and how you could truly heal yourself using affirmations as one of many tools. So that's one recommendation that I would love to provide. So that's one. Meditation. So as an as a psychic healer and an energy worker, when you get into the space, whether you acknowledge who you are and the gifts that you have, and you're using that to serve humanity or not, or you're just using it just to live life, there's a responsibility that comes with that, which is ensuring that you're cleansing, you're clearing, you're letting go of those emotions, letting go of those experiences, working through those, but also working at your emotional, physical, and this also helps in the spiritual space in clearing your chakras, your auras. The way I do that is, first and foremost, I use self hypnosis to put myself in lighter to medium states of trance, which maybe that's something I could share. Or by all means, book a session with me and I could actually train you on how to get into different states of self hypnosis. So you could actually use tools like this to not only help heal yourself, but also to, alleviate different, pains and moments of situations that you may in those moments not want. You want to just to release and be at peace. But anyways, that's for another video possibly. So I love to use the app Insight Timer. Insight Timer is a beautiful app that you could get on your Google Play Store or your Apple Store. Insight Timer, and I do guided meditations, more for intentional things. So, for example, if I know that I'm waking up in the morning, which is normally when I would normally do guided meditations. If I know that I'm going to be servicing clients that day, I want to make sure that my aura, my chakras are cleared and clean. And I want to energize those spaces. So I'll use a guided meditation. But in terms of clearing and healing, just before you go to bed, I like to recommend to a lot of my clients that last half an hour to an hour before you go to bed is such a pivotal time of creating change and healing. So using that time to say meditate and using, um, you know, in the evenings, I like to do more music and frequencies. Binaural beats are usually my go-to. Um, the ones I wrote down a few that I wanted to share. So if you're going to download the app or Inside Timer and you were looking at possibly using this recommendation, I would say 396 is an excellent frequency, hertz frequency that removes fear and guilt. Use that. 417 hertz is trauma healing and creates and facilitates change. And 432 is another beautiful, beautiful healing frequency. And it's also the frequency that the earth, um, it's also known as like the earth frequency. And so those three are really great for healing, for releasing, listening to something like that. Incorporating, if you're going to incorporate specific informations for wherever the pain is, if you use Louise Hay's book, saying that and kind of just chanting that affirmation before going to bed, and then falling asleep to one of these frequencies is a very, very, very powerful way to help clear, remove, facilitate the changes so that you're waking up the next morning in a healing state, or at least feeling a lot better than you did the previous day. So these are really great tools. These are do-it-yourself tools that are really simple. Um, and another, if you want to speak on a higher self level, ask for your guides, ask your spiritual guides for help to help create this change. And to give you the information. If it's something that's more reoccurring and chronic, that might take a little bit of assistance with a trained professional. But if it's something that you're just, okay, I'm just feeling off today, or a certain body part is hurting, then this is a really great way to help create, to help at least shift things as you sleep. Because the beauty in we I don't know what the percentage is, but if you think about it, a good chunk of our life is we're pretty much sleeping a good chunk of our life. So why not use that time that, number one, the conscious mind is at rest, so it's not active. So your unconscious mind is fully active 24/7. So this is the time that you can actually prepare and create and facilitate change as you sleep. So so this is a great tool to use. Again, another really great technique, if you are going to begin an evening nighttime practice, another thing that I actually recommend a lot of clients is visualization techniques. This could be on every part. It doesn't even have to be on a level of healing. This could be if you want to create, uh, manifest something in your life. The key thing is, and this is what I'm going to say, and this is definitely revolves around energy. Visualization coupled with, you need to feel the emotions. And this is the thing. So when you're visualizing something that you want to manifest, you want to ensure that you could actually, it's almost as if you're actually in experiencing that that visualization. You need to connect the emotional aspects of that visualization in order for it to create the change and manifest. The second thing, patience. You need to have patience. Doing this, the key thing in any visualization techniques is consistency. So, doing this, if you're going to incorporate this into your night practice, you're going to want to be consistent, and in creating that change. So be patient, um, making sure that you're connecting to the emotion of that visualization, because it is going to really impact the quickness of that manifestation. And consistency. So yeah, so I think those are really great tools that you could utilize. If you have any other questions, if you have any questions regarding this topic, any comments that you would like to, I love receiving comments. So if you have any questions, comments, you could post right here in the comment section. And the other thing is that you could also find Revolution 9 on Facebook. And I'm actually setting up an Instagram account, but I'm having some technical difficulties with this. Since I opened up my other Instagram accounts many, many years ago, things have changed. But currently I am on Facebook under Revolution 9. You could direct message me there, or just post a comment on the video if you have any questions. And thank you. Sending you lots of love and light until my next video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and see you soon.